back to episode 41 of the Mile Higher podcast.
We're your hosts, Kendall and Josh, and we are back.
Yes, we are. And sorry that we weren't here last week. We said we were going to be. I take full responsibility for this. I just have to say, Josh worked so hard. He had the podcast all ready to go.
I was like so upset that we didn't get to get it done. It was my fault.
I take full responsibility, but you know, I'm only human. So here's what happened, basically. We were going to record this episode, right before we went out of town. And the night before we did, I came home and I got this email from my doctor. And I really want to explain to you guys what's going on in my health stuff, because I do realize that a lot of you don't even know me from YouTube. You only watch the podcast, so you have like no idea what I'm talking about. I am going to get more into like explaining that to you guys next week, because we're going to talk about big pharma. So it's a good time to talk about medical stuff.
And our horrible fucked up healthcare system in the US.
Yes. And so long story short, my doctor really pissed me off. I got really, really mad. I went into a full panic attack. Like, I couldn't breathe. I started throwing up. I threw my phone, like, I hurled it across the room.
Literally smashed her phone on the ground.
I smashed my iPhone. That's how upset I was. And then, like, I was hysterically crying. And then I realized we were supposed to record the podcast. And I was like, dude, that's not going to happen. Like,
yeah. And I mean, I don't want to, like, force you to do something that you're not in the right state of mind for.
Well, it just wouldn't be possible. And anyone out there who's like had an actual panic attack knows that, like, after it happens, you're so exhausted, your adrenaline system's all fucked up. So I like pretty much passed out for a few hours after it all happened, and we didn't get a chance to record it. But we hope you guys understand, trying to get used to all of this health stuff has been quite a challenge this year. I'm still kind of trying to figure out how to go about living with something like this. And I hope you guys can understand I'm doing my best, and that we, of course, don't like missing content. We love doing this. We've been so excited to get here and record today. So we're just looking forward to going forward. And sorry, one more note I have to say. I just want to quickly say that this episode is also a little late today, because I wanted to wait until I hit 1 million subscribers today, because I was inching along, getting real close there. And I just wanted to hit it before we started podcasting so that I could thank you all who have supported me.
Yes. Let's give a big round of applause to Kendall.
Wow, this is awkward and quiet.
No, seriously, everybody out there, cheers to you, to 1 million subscribers.
Oh, thank you. It's truly amazing.
You've been
cheers to
so
them.
dedicated to your work and to your channel, and watching you, start out as everybody does on YouTube, as, tiny channel with nobody watching at first, to
except for Cutie Cat Noob. Shout out to my first subscriber. I still remember your name, but I can't find her.
But that's just really cool. And, it's inspiring for all of us, inspiring for me, especially because, I'm just kind of started my YouTube journey, and, now my podcast journey with you. So it's really exciting to, watch you hit this milestone, and just, you're a force to be reckoned with on YouTube. That's for sure.
Well, that's really nice of you to say. Thank you. I've just been, so filled with love today by so many messages, and I'm just beaming. I'm in such a great mood. I can't tell you guys how much this means to me, and how this truly was a dream for me. I mean, from, like I was saying this morning, just turning on the camera for the first time, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and just getting to like 300 subscribers, I remember, was a really big deal. Like talking to my mom and being like, dude, 300 people like have watched me online.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
It's just like, it's crazy. It's been, like almost 6 years now. I think it's been about 6 years, and it's been one hell of a journey.
Long time.
And I'm just really grateful to be where I'm at, and thank you. That's it.
And
that's all I got to say.
This train ain't slowing down anytime soon. We're pushing
Full
onward into the future. The future is bright.
Yeah.
For all of us, actually.
The studio's bright. It's looking real bright. It's almost done.
Oh, God, guys. Delays after delay. I'm sorry. I'm working hard on it. It's priority number 1. But there was an issue with the sign, of course. I didn't notice it until literally I was about to have the sign hung up. And I looked at it and I was like, fuck, there's one tiny little crack piece in it. And if there's one crack, the whole thing is like
you can't even turn
useless. So I had to have them send me a new one. So long story short, I'm hoping we are in the studio at least for a few episodes before the end of the year. That is the goal. So
I mean, if not by then 2019.
Then yeah, so maybe we'll just unveil it.
Yeah, in
the beginning of the year.
And we may, well, actually, we are going to have 2 adorable little Mile Higher crew members, but we can't tell you who they are yet.
Oh my God, you guys are gonna think this is so funny. But anyways, let's jump right into things. We have a lot to cover today because we had a lot happen this past week that we were gone. So many interesting things occurred.
Big things.
one thing we wanted to start out briefly by talking about, because it was such a big deal, especially in this country, but really it does have some impact around the world, and that is the 2018 election results of our government. And we don't want to get into politics or anything, but there's just a few, sort of positive things that I think came out of it.
Can I start?
Yeah.
The first positive thing is just the amount of people that came out, you guys, whatever you identify as. If you came out and voted, we're proud of you. Record numbers for this type of election. I mean, it was really cool to see America kind of come together and embrace. I don't know. I feel like we're on the rise from this division, maybe.
Well,
maybe.
it's like,
I mean, is that wishful thinking? I don't know. But
yeah,
we'll
I mean,
see.
I think people just got too comfortable with how things were. And so things happened that maybe some of us didn't agree with. And now we're all sort of like, oh, fuck, time to wake up and let our voices be heard, because.
And time to listen to each other.
Right.
Like,
and
on
the
both
way
sides.
that.
It's getting ridiculous.
You're right. It is getting ridiculous.
We're going to end up in a civil war with the way things, everyone is so like,
literally.
It's a war. It's so
like
stupid. Everyone's so hateful towards each other. I love being in the middle of it now. I definitely identify myself as independent, maybe even libertarian. I'm not sure quite where I fit in, but I hate being on one side or the other.
Well, it shouldn't be about sides at the end of the day. This is like all, we all live in the same country together. And, like SNL did in their episode this past week, there are things that we have in common. And I think we've just forgotten what those things are.
They did a sketch about all the things that we all hate together.
Yeah, that we all hate together.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what, what political affiliation you are.
Yeah.
There's all these common.
You hate dirty bathrooms and you hate annoying people on your text messages. And, we have more in common than we have apart. And I think this last election showed us that we can meet in the middle, maybe. I hope. Sometimes I think I just like sound ridiculous, but I hope that we can get there one day, where we can just work together.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can. And there's obviously some steps that have to take place before that. I mean, we really need, as the people, the way that democracy works and that our government works is that we, the people, right? We, the people of the United States should be the ones in the driver's seat for our government. And
that's not
the way
how
that
it
it's been has been completely backwards. The government and corporations, really the corporations have controlled the government, which has controlled us. So I think this is the beginning of hopefully, sort of a political revolution of, the people making their voices heard and enacting change and, really taking back control. And it's going to be a battle, guy. I mean, it's not going to be easy because, as we all are starting to realize and wake up to, the corporations have such, they have their hands in everything, especially oil, energy, big pharma, all these different types of industries control many of these politicians. So it's up to us to vote in politicians and people that, believe in what we believe and don't take money from these corporations and special interest groups and lobbyists and all that stuff. So
yeah, because I mean, we did have people. I had someone specific come to me and ask, "Hey, like, I'm curious about you and Josh, your opinion about politics. I mean, we all know that it's such bullshit. It is. We know that like most politicians are bought out on both sides. These are true things." So what do we do about it? How do we feel like we still have a say in it? Should we still be involved? And the answer is yes. And there are candidates that are, trying to make the change. I mean, look at, is it Beto O'Rourke? I always say Beto.
Yeah.
Sound like a dipshit.
Or is it is Beto, I think. Beto O'Rourke.
I thought it was Beto.
Yeah, I believe
anyway,
it's Beto. Yeah.
He had no campaign donors. It was all
grassroots
fundraising. And he did really incredible. He didn't win. He almost did. And, support people like that who don't have the corporation's hand up their ass. Because really, that's what's
happening.
on.
I mean, it's clearly what's happening because they can fund millions and millions of dollars into these politicians in order to get them reelected. And I think there's some more fuckery going on behind the scenes that we don't even know about. I mean, if you just look at what's happening with, Georgia and Florida and things like that, all the fuckery with the voting machines not working. I mean, there's so much things that is wrong with our voting system and the electoral college and all that bullshit. Like it's time to simplify things and put the people back into the power, or give them the power back, because it feels very useless and hopeless when we vote right now, because it's like we don't, we feel like nothing actually happens or changes.
Or they'll put in rules and make it unfair for people that are trying to do it without the corporations backing them. There's a lot of obstacles for sure.
And like we saw with, Bernie Sanders and the DNC, literally they straight up rigged it against him so that he didn't have a chance, even no matter how many people supported him.
And now he really can't run. They made it so he won't be able to run ever again. Not that I don't know if he was ever planning to.
I don't think he gives a fuck. I think he just wants to get the truth out about
he does
about things. And, you know, that I mean, that's who we really, you know, felt like we identified with politically in the last election. So,
but you know, it was really interesting when Josh and I were traveling. We were having a discussion about politics and where we're at, and we wanted to have kind of an unrealistic conversation about if we were to just start over with politics, how would we do it? Like, what changes would we make? And we talked a lot about how we really don't think we need a president. I personally think that's like really silly. I mean, it's kind of like a little puppet for us to like represent the country. It's like a total popularity thing.
And why should one person represent the entire country as a whole?
It should be like you elect someone based on your area, or you elect someone based on the job role they're going to be filling, like a parliament or something.
Prime minister or something like that, right? They're not the president.
Yeah.
They don't have like the executive power of this and that. But they still do, you know, because you do need like a diplomat on a global level to go meet with other leaders, blah, 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 blah,
like
blah.
Canada.
But I mean, do we need one? Maybe there should be a couple that represent, you know, all of us versus just one party. You know, it's just gotten so ridiculous. And some thoughts that I had brought up, which are pretty,
you had some good thoughts.
Might be kind of out there, but
not going to happen.
You know, one thought is like, there's a lot of people in this country that, you know, want to live their lives a certain way based upon their religious beliefs or, you know, political beliefs, things like that. Or
opposite, want to live without those things,
you know,
having it in a say in things, you know.
And my thought is like, out of all the countries in the world, when you look at the United States, it feels like we have like way more barriers and divisions than so many other countries do, as far as like having 50 states.
Yeah, I didn't even realize like how ridiculous it is that we have 50 states. Like that's a lot.
And they're trying to make other, you know, like Puerto Rico and places like U.S. territory states too. So it's like, and each of those states all have their own, you know, local government stuff, which I totally believe
local
in.
Government's
like
the way.
You got to have, you know, local legislation, things like that should all come from the almighty, you know, federal level. But, you know, do we really need that many? Like, what if we took, you know, certain sections of the country and had 5 provinces, say, instead of 50 states. And then within those provinces, we could, you know, we could have our own, you know, government, Supreme Court, things like that.
A more left one, a more libertarian one, you know, like kind of you can move to where,
like, what if there was a
place
that you could go with other like-minded individuals that you could exist within without having
so different here.
Being
There's
affected
too many
by
people
other
in this one large space with way different.
Well, it's like we have one extreme to this extreme, and then there's
trying
all
to
these people in the middle, and we're trying to force both sides of the spectrum to come together in the middle. But
it's really hard.
Is it possible?
And it's like it's right now. It's either we're gonna come together or we're gonna have like a civil war.
We're gonna just fucking blow up.
Okay,
blow up.
I don't know though. I'm for real. I could see a civil war happening in the next 20 years.
Yeah,
who
or
knows?
like another American Revolution, even.
I mean, like, who was it? Some like reporter, just a bunch of like a mob came to. I'm not a big fan of him, but Tucker Carlson like attacked his house. Like, are we really at that point where we're gonna like scare people's families, or the person who sent out bombs to like a bunch of people in the DNC? Like, really, are we at this place? Because like this is how wars start. You know, so I feel like America's at a place where it's like we're gonna choose to go either way, and I can see it happening either way.
So I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see what the future holds, and you know, we have to try to stick together as much as possible, and you know, if we can come together and you know try to figure out where we can meet in the middle on things that we disagree on, that'd be best. But some good things that happened as a result of the past election was that Colorado, so our state, elected the first openly gay governor. Jared Polis. Wouldn't it be cool if we got Jared Polis on the podcast?
Yeah, maybe we can hit his ass up.
Maybe we could. That'd be kind of cool.
I've been just making fun. I've just been like so over the commercials. I've just been using the name Jared Polis like all the time. I've been saying it. But like, I'm so sick of those commercials. That's like the best part of the election being over.
Thank God the political ads are over. Oh
my God, the
spamming
Jared
of ads.
Polis versus Walker Stapleton was like a beef. It was like a straight up battle playing out on live TV. So annoying.
So old.
But anyway.
But it was also cool to see, You know, because one of the things that I've had a problem with is it seems like so many elected officials in the U.S. government claim to come from, you know, a Christian background and really push the Christian ideals, and that, you know, America was founded on Christian principles, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. It goes, you know, there's debate. We can debate about that all day. But I think it's cool to see women, not only women being elected, which I think we need more women in politics, because I think there just needs to be more of a balance, but to see Muslim immigrants and people of the Muslim faith get elected as representatives. In Michigan, Rashida Tlaib and Ilan Omar both were elected, and the first Muslim women in U.S. government history.
Yeah, they're badasses too.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see. You know, it seems like people really are, you know, evolving just at a very slow rate of speed, but we're slowly getting there. And I think as time goes on, I think things are just going to continue to go in this direction of, you know, acceptance and, you know, tolerance, really. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And more love. More love.
More love.
We all need more love. Speaking of love, we need to, you know, we wanted to send our love, thoughts, you know, prayers out to the people of California right now.
Oh my God.
They are dealing with one of the most deadliest wildfires in their history.
Absolutely devastating. I mean, the footage just from people's phones has been so horrifying and upsetting. I just feel so badly for everyone that has been affected by this. I mean, it's just terrible. And sounds like it could have been started by an oil and gas company, PG and
for basically their lack of, which they're just being negligent and not checking to make sure their lines. And I mean, we've seen this over and over again with oil companies and energy companies that aren't being environmentally responsible and making sure their shit is safe and, you know, doing the things that they should be doing to make sure that it doesn't destruct our, you know, cause mass harm to people and animals
just like
in the
basic
environment.
Responsibility, you know?
So I'm not surprised there, but it's a really terrible wildfire. It's burned more than 6,000 homes and scorched 111,000 acres.
And I've heard I think, so 31 now have died.
Yeah. And there's at least over 100 people just unaccounted for, missing. Oh my God. It's pretty terrifying.
It is. It is very sad.
Our thoughts are with all of those affected by that. So, and then today is actually, as we're recording this, today is Veterans Day.
Yes.
So we want to give a big, you know, thank you to all of the veterans out there that are listening. We really do appreciate you because, you know, somebody's got to do it. And, you know, it takes a lot of selflessness and courage to put your life on the line for your country or really for, you know, anything that you believe in. So I have mad respect for anybody that serves in the military. I considered it at one point in my life. Joining the military just wasn't the right path for me, but I have mad respect for all of you out there that do serve. So we do appreciate you.
And, you know, we wouldn't even be able to be here freely talking and have our freedom of speech without our veterans. So
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely. And I mean, I think we all know somebody personally. Like I have my grandfather served in the Korean War. We all know a veteran. So, you know, be sure to thank them and, you know, let them know that, you know, we care about them and we appreciate them, and they are treated so terrible. That's a whole nother episode we can go into, and how poorly the veterans are treated, and, you know, all these promises the government never fulfills. So thank you for your service. But before we get into the next story, I want to thank today's first sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with more than 20,000 classes in design, photo, and more. Premium membership gives you unlimited access so you can improve your skills, unlock new opportunities, and do the work you love. Skillshare believes in accessible learning, and the price reflects that. An annual subscription with unlimited access is less than $10 a month, making it one of the best deals you can find for online education. And since Skillshare is sponsoring this video, the first 500 people to use the promo link in the description will get their first 2 months free to try it out. And Skillshare is something that I use personally. I love all the business and entrepreneurship classes they have on there, as well as the design stuff for Photoshop and Illustrator, which I've been getting into with the launch of the merch shop. So that's been extremely helpful.
And the gardening tutorials are good.
Yes, yes. So yeah, be one of the first 500 people to sign up and you'll get a 2-month free trial. All you got to do is go to skl.sh/milehire6 to start your trial now. All right. This next story is something that happened a while back or earlier on this year, but it's really interesting. I actually made a video on my YouTube channel about this, and that is about, if you didn't hear about it, about what scientists thought was some type of asteroid that came, or unidentified object really, that came flying into our solar system. So it's an interstellar object from another galaxy, star system. And it basically came out from behind our sun and flew right by us and then exited the solar system. And they ended up, the astronomers that saw it ended up calling it Uma is, I believe, how it's pronounced, which is Hawaiian for messenger or scout. Because I think the Hawaiian Observatory, which we were really close to, was actually the ones that spotted it. And they weren't sure if it was a comet or an asteroid, but they knew it was at least half a mile long. Now, what's interesting is that a lot of scientists and astronomers just kind of, you know, because a lot of people were like, is this some sort of, you know, extraterrestrial spaceship? Like, what is this fucking thing coming in hot from some other, we know coming in from some other star system? And what's it doing? Like, why is it, you know, why did it fly so close to Earth and then just like take off? Because the thing was moving extremely fast at 196,000 miles per hour.
That's really interesting.
And it kind of looks like a cigar, which is interesting. But this made news again because 2 Harvard scientists have come out and said that they believe that this fast-moving visitor to our solar system may have been a probe sent by an alien civilization. So the fact that Harvard scientists are now thinking like, maybe this thing was some sort of extraterrestrial, you know, spacecraft, or maybe it was some probe or something like that.
I think it was like them sending, like, my imagination says that they like ejected a bunch of little alien pods. They like sent them out and now they're like headed towards Earth in their little space pods to do an update.
They could be. Maybe they're, you know, some other extraterrestrial race from another star system.
They can't get close enough in the cigar ship, so they like sent them out.
That has been studying our solar system.
Yeah.
And realized that, oh, there's life in this star
probably
system.
Good chances. God, what were we watching? Oh, we were watching Lilo and Stitch last night. And
don't admit that to me. I wasn't watching.
That's a good movie. What's wrong with you? Don't hate on Lilo and Stitch. Damn. But it's like, it's an alien movie, and all the aliens in that, remember, they're like, the humans are just innocent, silly little creatures. And then they basically have a galactic space force. What did they call it? Like the United Federation?
Oh, yeah. Like Galactic
Space Force. Yeah. Something. I bet that shit's real, though.
So the way that it looks like is, you know, the scientists are saying that, you know, maybe because it kind of looks like a sail. So maybe it's like a light sail, which is a type of a device or, you know, piece of spacecraft that allows it to harness solar radiation in order to propel itself. And it's a technology that we're looking into as a method for traveling very quickly, you know, faster than the speed of light in space. So they're thinking that maybe it could be a light sail. But the fact that, you know, we're starting to take another look at this and be like, oh shit, maybe it was something important. And has some people being like, well, why didn't we try to ping the damn thing and try a lot harder to contact it? Because we kind of just sat around and we're just like, oh, what is that? It's probably just an asteroid. And now we're like, oh, shit.
And it's funny how they're admitting now that that's not what they think it is.
Yeah, and we're talking about like mainstream astronomers and scientists like Harvard came out and they're like, oh, I think this could be something more than just a rock flying through space.
Maybe.
Because basically the way that this thing looked to astronomers, they've never seen anything like it in our solar system ever, is completely bizarre and alien looking to us.
Yeah.
So maybe it was something more than just a
Well, what's
giant
crazy
asteroid.
too is like, who was it that said, I think it was it Tesla or Stephen Hawking that like said it was going to come in a shape thing like this in that type of shape.
The cigar
Someone
shape?
predicted it. Yeah. Here, let me find it.
Can't remember off the top of my head, but that's interesting. I'm sure somebody did, and I wouldn't be totally surprised at all if some extraterrestrial, species is scouting us out. I mean, I think they've already been scouting us out, but this is a huge universe, as we'll talk about today, which I can't believe we'd even say what the episode is on today. But the episode that we're doing today is going to be on origins of the universe. So we're going to explore theories about how the universe, just the universe itself, I say that as if it's something small, the fucking gigantic, never-ending universe, and how it actually, like, what was there before the universe? How did this all come to be? That's what we're looking at today.
I was telling Josh the other night, when I was a kid, me and my friend Kristen were like laying in my backyard, just like, laying on the grass, staring at the stars and like talking and eating ice cream and stuff. And she was really smart. So she was like ahead in school by like 1 or 2 grades. And her class was learning about the universe and how it's ever expanding. And she was like trying to explain to me what it means to be like ever expanding, that the universe is just, no one knows where it stops and it still could be growing. And I was just like, and that's what really piqued my curiosity in all of this stuff. Like, I remember that being the moment where I was just really, really curious about the universe and origins of life. And it's wild to think about our universe.
Especially when, you get a really beautiful night sky and you go out there and you just look up and you start realizing, like, holy shit, I am a speck in this. Especially
if you can get to somewhere without light pollution, like in the middle of nowhere.
It's incredible.
It's insane. Like the Milky Way, it looks like you could just dive right up into space. It's so insane.
And then when you start thinking about how the Milky Way is like one galaxy of like billions, you're like,
it's like a tiny part of it.
What the fuck?
I know. It really actually is the only thing that starts to make my head hurt. Like actually.
Oh, this episode's going to make your head hurt.
Good.
FYI, get ready.
Love a good headache.
Your mind's going to feel just completely bended in every which way when we're done with you.
Bend this shit.
But
we're done with you.
To continue this theme of UFOs, you guys just tweeted this to me today, and I had to include it because I love hearing these stories. But a UFO investigation is underway in Ireland after pilots flying British Airways and Virgin Airlines jets reported seeing mysterious bright lights as they crossed the country.
Oh.
So there was a number of sightings on November 9th, so on Friday at 7:40 a.m. The pilot from British Airways Flight 94 from Montreal to London contacted Shannon Air Traffic Control after seeing the object on the left-hand side of her Boeing 787. And she asked, obviously, first things first, when you see something like that, which I've never been, blessed to see a mysterious light fly across the sky like this, but I can only imagine how crazy it would be to see it, and like how your first thought would be like, this has got to be like something military, something, top secret, some type of technology. And she asked the air traffic control and they said there was nothing showing on their radar systems that would be a military exercise going on. So I just wanted to play a little bit of the radio interactions when she's describing what she's seeing, because it's just so fucking interesting.
American 86, reportable 370, and it is smooth again. American 86, Shannon. Hello, radar contact, and it seems to be smooth ahead of you as well.
Shannon 394.
Go ahead.
Any military presence you got right now?
34.260. 134.26 Singapore 25 confirmed. Paper.
That's all.
Okay, sir, there's nothing showing on either primary or secondary.
Okay, it was moving so fast, in fact, you can no longer see it, but yes, thank you.
990. 5 by 5, thank you. Alongside you?
Yes. It's to come up on our left-hand side and then rapidly veer to the north, being so bright light, and then it just disappeared at a very high speed. We were just wondering. We didn't think it was a likely collision course, we're just wondering what that could have been.
Or another object
just wondering.
making some kind of re-entry. Appears to be multiple objects following the same sort of trajectory, but very bright where we were.
another
that's
plane.
And is there a direction it was going in or anything? Right, it's copied, thank you.
The Virgin 76 also saw that in our 11 o'clock position, two bright lights.
Roger, that's copied, thank you.
Glad it wasn't just me? No, yeah, very interesting, that one.
Say again?
So like, what was that?
Hey, thank you.
All right, I think that's the end of the...
Why is she so calm?
No, I know. They're all very calm.
I would be like, bitch, my wig is flew. There is an alien spacecraft flying next to me. I'd be screaming.
Well,
they're like, any idea what that could have been there?
Yeah, they're very calm, which I guess as a pilot, you probably should be calm.
Fuck. I'm sorry, but if there was an alien craft.
But multiple, this is that you were hearing multiple planes.
Yeah.
And they're flying at like 40,000 feet. So they're way, way up there. And it sounds like, especially the woman pilot that was describing it made it sound like the light was like right next to the plane. Like she was looking out her window.
Yeah, and she's like at
there's
very
this
high
bright
speeds.
light flying across at high rate of speed. Now, some people say, because the other pilot was like, kind of looks like meteors re-entering the atmosphere, which totally could be possible. But I feel like that they probably know what that looks like.
It would have looked like not a craft. It would have looked like fireballs. But that's what
bright
they said
light
it was.
flying across. But I think the way that she described it though was the trajectory at which it was flying was not flying in such a way that meteors would come in.
And wouldn't they burn out a lot quicker and a lot higher up than a plane?
Well, if you
would
think
fly?
about it, wouldn't a meteor be coming straight down versus flying alongside it?
That
She
doesn't
said
make
it
a
was
lot of sense.
alongside of her flying at a high rate of speed as almost it was following her next to her.
Dude.
That's crazy. And I mean, we were just on an airplane and I think about this every time
Yeah.
I get on a flight now. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I hope one of these days I look out my airplane
Yeah, we were
window
on a red
and I'm
eye,
like,
too.
there's a bright light flying next to me. Like that'd be crazy.
Crazy. God, this makes me not trust the pilots though. They like know how to stay calm. So when they get on the little intercom and say like, it's a little bit of turbulence right now. Everyone stay calm. We're gonna, ease on.
Things are probably
in.
way crazier
We're
than they ever
fine.
even
Yeah,
allude
clearly
to.
they know how to like be calm. Well,
Yeah.
fuck. That
That's
was
crazy.
insane.
And no military exercises were taking place at the time. So unless this is some type of highly top secret,
Could be.
black project
Or
technology,
another country's secret thing
yeah, or
that we
some
just
other
don't-
country's top secret technology, which
Possible.
very possible they have this stuff. Or this could be something extraterrestrial, which would be just crazy. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty interesting. And we're we talked about a report of this from a similar UFO sighting that happened over Oregon, Washington, a few months ago. So I'm just curious at how often this really does happen. I bet you it happens way more than what actually gets reported to, the news and stuff. So I thought that was super interesting. And I mean, I honestly think that, we're going to find out the truth about this, alien dilemma sooner than later. Because clearly, if Uma is truly a, alien spacecraft flying through, it's only a matter of time before, we really figure out what the hell's going on here. And or when we're ready to meet them.
Maybe those lights were the little pods of the little aliens I was talking about.
Maybe they were. Maybe
They were
they're
just
flying
coming
around.
in for a landing.
And I'm pretty sure that they watch them like disappear in thin air. I think that was part of it too, is they watch these bright lights fly across and then they just dematerialize and they're
It's
gone.
insane how many pilots have seen this shit too. Like, come on.
Oh yeah. And the amount of testimony you go and look at like
It's, like,
military pilots and
overwhelming.
stuff. There's so many UFO sightings, which again, some of them could be military or some other type of, unknown technology, but I don't know. Could definitely be alien origin for sure. So I don't know. It's just so fucking interesting. I find it, I just can't wait for the day that we know the truth about all this shit. But before we jump into Origin of the Universe theories, I want to quickly thank our next sponsor, Curology, for sponsoring today's episode. What's the skincare secret no one talks about? do less. You shouldn't need a 7-step morning routine to clear your skin.
Yeah, I have my skincare routine has become insane because along with all my health issues this year, I've really struggled with like adult acne, which I never
everybody struggles
experienced.
with acne. I still struggle with acne sometimes.
I know, but I never did. Like, I never had consistent breakouts and cystic. Like, this is all new for me. And I've bought like really nice products, like thinking it's going to help me, and it hasn't. So I'm like super excited to get started with Curology because I've read amazing things.
Yeah, and Curology has it down to one bottle, customized to your skin's unique needs,
so nice,
and mixed by an expert just for you.
I think that's almost like what I'm doing wrong is I have too many like potions in the mix.
Well, that's what they say, right? That, you know, you got to simplify it. So that's
I keep adding more thinking it'll help me. More money equals clear skin.
Yeah.
Not true.
No, not true at all. So Curology is the one-step skincare routine completely customized to you without scheduling an appointment, paying a copay, or even leaving your home. You can connect with an online dermatology provider who will design a custom prescription acne formula to be sent right to your door. All you have to do is go to Curology.com, answer some questions about your skin, snap a few quick selfies, and then Curology's expert dermatology providers create a skincare solution just for you. It even comes with your name on the damn bottle.
Dude.
There's
Millennials
no
they love personalized.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love customizing
I do too.
everything.
It makes me feel special seeing my name printed on some shit.
But there's no gimmick, no complicated routine, and 88% of Curology users see results. All you got to do is go to Curology.com/milehigher to get your first month free plus a free gift.
Oh, damn. Damn.
Just pay $40.95 or $4.95. Sorry for shipping. I can't read numbers for some reason.
$4.95.
$4.95. Yeah. I don't know why I said it like that. Sorry, $4.95 for shipping and handling. So $5 basically. Again, that's Curology.com/milehigher for your first month free plus a free gift. Curology.com.
Dude, they're hooking it up. Go take advantage of that, guys.
That's good shit, man.
That is.
All right, guys. Origin of the universe. Now, you got to really get ready to open your minds a bit because the universe is a tough one to wrap your head around. So, what do we know about the universe as it exists today, and as far as what we know about how it came into existence? Well, the most popular theory out there is obviously the Big Bang Theory, which relates to that nearly 14 billion years ago, there was nothing and nowhere. Then, due to a random fluctuation in a completely empty void, which if you just think about that for a second, you think about
a fluctuation in an empty void.
14 billion years ago, before there was anything, there was a void, just a nothingness, basically. Just a complete void of anything.
How do they know?
Well, they don't know, but this is the best guess they've got.
It sounds,
that science has
this
got
always
right now.
reminds me of the simulation theory because I think about the Big Bang reminds me of like a computer booting up. Like that's what it was like, nothing, and then it turned on.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great example for sure. Because, you know, due to this random fluctuation in this void, the universe exploded just out of nowhere into existence. Something the size of a subatomic particle inflated to an unimaginably huge size in a fraction of a second, driven apart by negative pressure vacuum energy. So this theory is the most widely accepted among scientists, and basically what they say is that what we call the observable universe, or it's also known as the Hubble Volume, is the spherical region about 90 billion light years in diameter that is centered on any given observer. This is the only part of the universe in which light has time to reach the observer in the 13.8 billion years since the universe began. So there's actually a picture of the observable universe that you can look at, and it does show this spherical region. So could the universe be a giant sphere, ever expanding sphere?
That would make kind of sense with like a bunch of spheres inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, well that makes sense
because they're actually able to see this at a huge portion of the universe because we can see the gases that were left behind from the Big Bang as far as what we understand about it. Like,
I feel obviously like we don't understand shit.
Well, that could be the conclusion we come away with at the end of this, that we don't understand shit.
Okay.
But just this, I'm just giving you science's version of events first.
All right. What do they say?
So they said the universe's expansion is accelerating. Objects are being dragged out of Earth's Hubble volume and will become undetectable to humans in the future. The Hubble volume is more than 13.8 billion light years in radius because the expansion of space has increased distances between objects faster than light can travel.
What? That hurts. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. So the Hubble volume is more than 13.8 billion light years in radius
across.
Because the expansion of space has increased distances between objects faster than light can travel.
Right, which is called Hubble volume because that's what Hubble, the telescope, because the Hubble telescope
So how far the
has
Hubble
shown
can
us
see.
so much. Yeah. I mean, without the
radius
Hubble
of
telescope, we wouldn't have seen half the shit.
So
that
they're
we have.
saying that anything past the Hubble volume is too far for humans
Right.
to see or understand or even
Exactly.
look at. Okay.
Yep.
It's amazing they can see that far. What?
Isn't it?
Like, really? Is there
Isn't it?
pictures? They have pictures of that shit?
I mean, they have a picture of like them like that's the picture of the
That
universe.
just looks like a map. That's the universe.
Yeah, because that's like all the gases and things left out. Don't ask me to explain how they get these pictures. And I mean,
What?
conspiracy theory, it could all be bullshit. But here's some 3 assumptions that astronomers make based upon this Big Bang theory. The laws of physics are universal and don't change with time or location in space. The universe is homogeneous or roughly the same in every direction, though not necessarily for all of the time. Humans do not observe the universe from a privileged location such as at its very center. So, the laws of physics are universal and don't change with time or location in space. So, do you believe that there's like, universal laws that exist? I think there's
I do.
universal laws that exist throughout the universe.
I do too.
Whether it's, time or location in space, I don't know, but I definitely think there is order to the universe for sure.
Mm-hmm. Balance and like a system in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of these, assumptions that scientists and astronomers have made about the universe come from, them applying Albert Einstein's equations, which indicates that the universe has these properties.
I think maybe it was Einstein that warned about it.
The universe expands. Astronomers see light from the universe's distant regions shifted toward the red end of the spectrum by the expansion of space between. The universe emerged from a hot, dense state of some finite time in the past. The lightest elements, hydrogen and helium, were created in the first moments of time. So those were the first elements that were created as soon as the Big Bang occurred. So that picture that I was showing you, or for those that didn't see it, what looks like kind of a map of the globe almost. It's kind of weird looking. But it's the background of microwave radiation which fills the entire universe, which is the sort of evidence left behind from the Big Bang, when when it was first really, really hot,
Yeah.
and then it eventually cooled enough for atoms to form. Is basically how it happened.
Okay, that makes a little sense. This is really funny. I'm really trying to find who warned that the spaceship was going to look like a cigar and stuff. But this is an article from last December where the title is "Cigar-Shaped Rock is Not Alien Spacecraft."
Yeah, the
they've
scientists concluded that. Yeah.
Yeah, a year ago. So it shows you they don't know what the fuck they're completely changing their mind.
And for all we know, they made contact with it.
They probably
And
did.
they just haven't told us yet.
Dude, what if it's oh man.
It's very
I feel like we're in
possible.
for some crazy, crazy things coming up in
yeah.
the next 5 years.
Oh,
people.
absolutely.
Buckle the fuck in.
Because, I think our whole understanding of what reality in the universe is could completely change, especially if we come in contact with some highly advanced extraterrestrial beings that do exist out there and do have way more knowledge about things than we do. And what's crazy about, the Big Bang Theory is that if any of the astronomers' basic assumptions are wrong, the Big Bang Theory would not explain the properties of the universe. So it's also very possible that the Big Bang never happened. So, I think when teaching, a lot of textbooks and stuff do teach the Big Bang Theory as sort of the fact. Of all things. When in
Because they
reality,
don't like to leave a lot of room for you to make your own decisions.
Right.
They like to tell
Right.
you what to believe,
exactly.
even if they don't really fucking know if that's the truth. They're going to just, give you whatever version they can make the most sense with and hope that people buy it and stop asking any questions.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're absolutely right. So it's very possible that the Big Bang never even happened.
Yeah.
And that some of these assumptions that we've made about the universe are completely wrong.
I'm sure we're really not right. I really think that the universe and the powers that be are more intelligent than us, and that we are not meant to fully understand it all as human beings, that our brains aren't even capable of fully understanding the universe.
Right, currently that could be the case.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you think we've hit our like cap for human intelligence. Like,
no,
this is it. We're as smart as we're going to get.
No, but I think that there's a lot that we're not going to just be able to figure out, because there's
With
a lot of missing
mathematics and
pieces
physics
and things
and
that we're
things
just
like-
not going to know.
Like, there's no equations out there that can really like
No, because I think in a
piece together
sense,
how it all works.
I think in a sense it's like a spiritual thing, you know? So
Yeah.
how are we going to understand something like that?
Yeah. It's
Something that may be godly for all we know,
definitely.
divine, whatever you want to call it. How can we figure that kind of stuff out on our own and put an equation to it? I mean, you can't.
No, you can't.
There's only so much that scientists can figure out. And that's why I feel like people should go on their own journeys and try to make their own decision versus just taking the smart people's
Well,
word
that's
for
that's
it, you know?
that's the whole point of our podcast, right? Is to try
Yeah.
to get you to question things.
Yeah, because
and-
we're not geniuses.
No, I mean, I this blows my fucking mind
Yeah.
when I like research this stuff and, you know, hear new discoveries that are being made and hear
Mhm.
about possibilities of contact with aliens and things, and it totally opens
Truly
my mind to
remarkable.
all the possibilities that are out there. And, you know, I mean, the fact that, you know, one thing you have to understand too about theories of the universe and origins of the universe is that many scientists across the scientific community have debated this and have different theories about it. There's a large number of scientists that don't agree that the universe started as a result of the Big Bang, and that there is all of these other theories, such as the steady state universe, which was an early rival to the Big Bang theory, which basically just proposes that there is a continuous creation of matter throughout the universe to explain its apparent expansion. And this type of universe would be infinite with no beginning or end, which I think, you know, most of us believe that the universe is infinite and that there is no beginning or end, and that maybe it is just this continuous
But
thing.
how does that make any sense? Because then what's like on the other side of where it's still expanding?
A void.
A void? Well, a void can't
Blackness.
exist unless it's in the universe, right? How can anything exist outside of it? I'm so confused.
That's the point.
Wouldn't it just be the universe if it's outside
Right,
of it and there's
right.
something that...
What is there?
Oh,
with that?
my head
Well, that's the
hurts.
thing is like, what is outside of the universe? What is that? What is there? I don't think we can even put a name or a word to it because we can't possibly comprehend what it is or if it is anything.
It's just a computer screen with some dude on the other side watching the
or it's a
simulation.
bubble or something. Like we're just like in this ever expanding bubble and it's just like
It's continuously blowing
nothingness
up.
around it.
Wow.
There's
So
also
many possibilities.
Oh, yeah. There's also the eternal inflation theory. The universe expanded rapidly during a brief period called inflation. And it puts forward that inflation never stopped and has been going on for an infinite length of time.
So it's like the same thing.
Somewhere, even now, new universes are coming into existence in a vast complex called the multiverse.
That makes sense, I feel like. I'm sure there are new life being constantly created.
Yeah.
I would believe that.
The eternal inflation theory. And not only is there, you know, new universes, what if there was like new universes constantly being created and born? Like, what if there's just like if you took the Big Bang theory, but then put it into a space where there's just infinite number of Big Bangs happening and new universes being born every second. And within these universes, the physical laws are all different. So maybe like we've kind of figured out some of the universal laws of this universe as far as like space and time and the different dimensions and things like that. But then in another, you know, in a multiverse theory, in another universe, there's a completely different thing. Maybe there's fucking 12 dimensions and, you know, there is no time. No, there's no time requirements and it has a completely different system of organization. I mean, how crazy would that be? You know, if there was these other types of universes out there. I'm just blowing your mind right now.
Yeah, dude. I just like, I'm trying to even like come up with something to like respond, but it's just, this
So
stuff
you
like
do
hurts
think the
my head.
multiverse theory is possible? You do think
Yes.
there's, because like look at the Mandela effect. Like, you know, is that proof
Yeah.
of a multiverse,
Well,
or
then
is
it's
that
like-
just proof of
Oh, this
a
is where it
different
hurts.
dimension, or
I can't understand the
Kendall's like,
difference
"My
between
brain
like a
hurts."
dimension and a universe, and like a different. I mean, it's just so weird. Like, because in Interstellar, the other dimension was still like part of the same universe, and I don't know. It's so confusing.
I mean,
and then the
or was it?
multiverse
We
theory of
don't-
them all being like lined up like a bunch. Like, what?
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. But if you look at our universe, it's pretty obvious that our universe has more than just 3 or 4 dimensions.
Yeah.
That it could have up to 12 dimensions even.
I see. That's what's like so interesting, because then there's like, I
Which
can't
is
even
still,
like put
it's
into words what
still,
I'm trying
so
to
that's
think
still
about.
separate from a universe. It's a dimension which exists within our universe.
Yeah.
But it's a different, think of it almost like it's a different plane that we can't see but exists. Like, how do we know there's not, especially when you look at spirits and
Mm-hmm.
paranormal type stuff, where you look at, possibly interdimensional beings that may exist.
Yeah.
You think about, well, they do exist in our universe, but they're just on a different plane or a different dimension to which we as humans right now cannot transcend into that dimension. Does that make sense? Like, we're confined to the 3D, 4D dimensions. We can't even
So that makes it seem even
look into
so
the
much
other
more
dimensions.
big, as if
far more complex.
God. I seriously, this hurts my head.
I told
Doesn't
you.
it make your head
I
hurt?
told you.
I swear, this is why I think my
Oh,
stupid
my brain loves
human
this
little
shit.
brain just cannot handle this. Like, I don't think I was
Our little
meant to
monkey brains.
understand it. Maybe like Kendall 4.0 in like 400 years will
Well,
be
that's
able
the
to
thing. I mean,
comprehend this shit.
mean,
Maybe we'll Baba Vanga says around like 2300 something, the aliens is going to come down, help us build the sun, and help like expand our brains and basically bring us to the next level of
all right,
consciousness.
this one's going to really hurt your brain. And this is a
Okay.
very interesting theory about it called the holographic universe.
Oh, I've heard about this.
And this one, you might actually believe in this one. And I'd be interested to hear what many of you out here think of this. And basically implications found in quantum gravity and string theory, which if you don't know what string theory is very complex and interesting, but it could potentially provide us the answers to what is everything. But basically, string theory and quantum gravity suggest a universe that is in reality nothing like how it appears to our eyes or human observers. So theoretical physicists and astrophysicists investigating irregularities in the cosmic microwave background, or in other terms, the afterglow of the Big Bang, have found there is substantial evidence supporting a holographic explanation of the universe.
What?
That does, if that, so many of you are probably like, that makes no sense to me. Hologram, what the hell does that mean? So I'm gonna attempt to break this down for all of our minds to understand. So this idea was first suggested in the 1990s and is one where all the information which makes up our 3D reality plus time, which many people consider time a dimension or a fourth dimension, is actually contained in a 2D surface on its boundaries. So let me break it down a little more for you. So the holographic universal or universe principle suggests that we are living in a simulated reality. Get this is different from the computer simulation theory, which we'll talk about after, but it essentially claims that our physical world is nothing more than a detailed illusion.
I don't like that.
Just wait. I know you don't like it, but this may be what's going on here. So this illusion is actually projected by our brains as energy fields are being decoded into the seemingly three-dimensional universe we see around us. In a more speculative sense, the theory suggests that the entire universe can be seen as a two-dimensional information structure that is painted on the cosmological horizon, such that the 3 dimensions, 4 if you include time, we observe are only an effective description at microscopic scales and at low energies. And I'll give you an example to try to, if that didn't make sense
That
to you.
made no sense. to
Okay,
me.
let's try to break this down a little bit more. So imagine that everything you see, feel, and hear in 3 dimensions, which includes your perception of time, in fact, emanates from a flat 2-dimensional field. So it's flat 2-dimensional, right? 2D is flat. The idea is similar to that of ordinary holograms, where a 3-dimensional image is encoded in a 2-dimensional surface, such as a hologram on a credit card. Does that make sense?
Kind of looks like in this
So
thing.
kind of like, well, that's 3D.
I know.
So 2D,
but
so like
flat.
the card, if you look at like your credit card, you know how
Yeah.
like some of them have like a little hologram thing on them, or your
Mhm.
license even has them
Yeah.
on there. So imagine that, and how the hologram is emanating from the two-dimensional space. Here's
Okay.
another example.
But is it 3D?
Yes, so
It is?
So
Oh, it does kind of
it
look
could be thought of as like
3D.
watching a 3D film.
On your credit card, it does look 3D. I know what you're talking about now.
But it's flat. It's a
right,
flat.
but it is 2D.
But
I
we
see.
perceive it as three-dimensional.
So the universe could be like that?
Right. So it could be like we're watching a 3D film at the movies, because we see the pictures as having
On a
height,
2D
width,
screen.
and crucially depth to them, when in fact it all originates from a flat 2D screen.
But how is that possible if I'm able to pick this up? This is not flat.
Right. The difference is that in our 3D universe, we can touch objects and the projection is real from our perspective. Does that make sense?
So
we're
so we're insane.
It's a 2D world that we're perceiving as a three-dimensional world through our eyes. The way that our brains perceive it is three-dimensional, when
So
in fact it's
you're
all
actually
two-dimensional. It's all two-dimensional.
This is two-dimensional.
And our brains are essentially creating the illusion that is life and everything that we see, but it's all emanating from a two-dimensional space.
I don't believe that.
Okay. Fair enough.
That doesn't make any sense to me. What do you mean? This is not flat. I'm here.
I know,
feel
but
it.
it's only real to us.
Yeah,
but is
because
it
it's
real to the universe? To the universe, it could be a two-dimensional space.
Okay.
And that this is, we, as the beings that we are, our brains are able to basically create the illusion of a three-dimensional, four-dimensional space with time included.
That's like an interesting theory, but like, what's the proof for that? Like, why?
Yeah.
What? That just sounds like an interesting idea with a lot of smart words thrown in to like make it sound more believable. That doesn't
There's
feel
a lot of people
spiritually to me like that's the case.
But that's just a very scientific look at it. You can take it and you can add some spiritual elements to it, which is another theory, which we'll talk about, the living universe theory, that sort of ties it all together, and I think will make a lot of sense to you. But after talking about, this holographic principle of the universe, the major thing to me when I think holographic, three-dimensional, four-dimensional, I think virtual reality, right? I think if anything, if this is in fact, a two-dimensional world, that this, life as we know as being real is really just, some data on a SIM card, or, data on a disk or something two-dimensional, then this has to be some sort of computer simulation, right? Like this would have to be some sort of virtual reality created for all of us that we get booted up in, and this is really an artificial simulation that comes back to computer code. It's all ones and zeros.
So it would make the simulation theory make some sense.
Right.
Okay.
And so now we're talking about the simulation theory, which many of you know about. It's pretty interesting, actually, is that everything that we call life, the universe itself, is all contained in a computer program run by an advanced supercomputer. Because, the way the theory goes is that when you look at just technology, how it's progressed in the past 100 years, and you look at where video games have gone, and now we have virtual reality, look at we have the Oculus Rift virtual reality headset. And when you put that on, it really does make you feel like you're in another world. The only thing that we're missing with virtual reality now is being able to transcend our consciousness and our touch, feeling, taste into the simulation itself. So essentially putting us into the game,
Yeah.
Like the day that happens is going to be the day that I think society changes forever, because I could see a lot of people that would rather live in a simulated reality than maybe the real reality as we know it. Especially if technology gets to the point where there's virtually no difference. And that's what a lot of people have said. That's what people like Elon Musk have said. And Elon Musk has talked a lot about this. I'm sure many of you have heard, but he says the odds that this is base reality, so this reality right here, you and me sitting here, the odds that this is base reality is 1 in billions.
Right. I know. I've heard.
So when you
Elon
think
explain
about that, you're like, holy fuck, the chances of that, this is the real reality we're in, is 1 in billions. Like, you agree with that? Is that
agree with it,
possible?
but I think we have like so much purpose and there's so much more meaning that I don't think we're just like
Just a computer simulation.
no, I just don't jive with that. Like I respect it, I understand it, it's possible, but I don't relate to it. I just don't feel that way about it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think is it possible? Sure. Do I think it's likely? No. Because I think things are far more complex than any supercomputer could ever, run on it. And actually, a team of physicists in Europe recently discovered proof that it is mathematically impossible for the known universe to be a computer simulation. Like they basically ran there's actually an article, they ran the statistics or the probability based upon all the information that we know about, the observable universe as it exists today, and literally concluded that it is impossible for any type of supercomputer, no matter how advanced, or AI even, to even have the capability to create the vastness of our universe.
Yeah,
as
it
exists.
seems like it would be like so.
It'd be insane. It'd have to be like some like literal science fiction craziness that I don't even know if an advanced civilization could create.
I don't know. I feel like most people I've talked to about it like just don't jive with it either. Like they just feel in their souls that just doesn't feel right. But
Yeah.
I mean, we could be wrong. Obviously,
It could be wrong.
No one knows.
All right, this is the one that I think you're gonna like, and that is the theory that the universe is alive. It's alive because many people assume that the modern world that we live in is inside of a universe comprised of entirely inert matter and empty space. Basically, regarding the universe as dead at its foundations is basic to the Industrial Revolution, which it makes sense to exploit what appears dead for the benefit of what seems most alive, ourselves. But this assumption is now being questioned as a more ancient view is reconsidered. And in fact, Plato said, this is Plato's view, the famous philosopher Plato put it this way. He said, the universe is a single living creature that encompasses all living creatures within it. Did you hear that?
No. What it had all creatures in it?
Plato said that the
I'm
universe...
trying to find the section on the thing.
Okay. Plato said that the universe is a single living creature that encompasses all living creatures within it.
That is correct.
Do you agree with that
yes.
statement?
Like Mother Gaia, the idea of the universe being a living being. And that's how I feel about it. When I have the earth, I mean, whatever you want to call it.
The earth being a living organism.
But not just earth, everything else.
Right. Well, yeah.
The universe is a extremely complex living creature. I completely agree with that.
You don't think it's
That's
dead?
where my soul aligns. No.
That space is dead.
I don't think it's a big accident. No. I think there's a lot more to this.
Just dead matter.
Just because we don't understand it, or, it's more divine than we can even comprehend, doesn't mean that. And there doesn't need to be scientific explanation for everything.
Right. And what's interesting is that most of the world's wisdom traditions and ancient cultures fall in line with this theory that science is now starting to actually take seriously. So science now regards our universe as almost entirely invisible. 96% of the known universe is comprised of invisible energy and matter. It's completely unified and able to communicate with itself instantaneously in non-local ways that transcend the limits of speed of light. Sustained by the flow through of an unimaginably vast amount of energy, free at its deepest quantum levels while not proving the universe is alive. These and all the other attributes from science do point strongly in that direction. That right there, that the universe is sustained by a flow through of an unimaginably vast amount of energy. There's clearly energy at play here, and this energy is
power. It's like
some type
oil
of divine
in a way,
thing.
like in a car, how it works. It's a force that is divine. How can you explain spiritual energy? It's something that is more powerful and deeper than we can put human words to.
Yeah.
And
that it could be continuously regenerating itself.
Right.
And living things.
It does. I think it does. And Josh and I talk about this all the time, really with how many creatures there are on this planet and how complex they are, down to a mosquito, how complex a hummingbird is. I mean, they're little, every animal's so different and so complicated in its own little simple package. And I don't think that's by accident. I don't think the universe just spat this shit out. Like, you know?
And just by randomness.
I think there's a beautiful design to it all. It's like, it was created by a god or whatever, or the universe, whatever you want to call it. An energy that we can't see or explain.
Well, and I think it comes back to, if you look at it on a much deeper spiritual sense, you know, a lot of people, including myself and you and, you know, a lot of people we know believe that, you know, the universe is this, you know, unimaginably vast, powerful, wise energy that we all are a part of at our core. You know, if you look at us at our core, like, what are we as humans? We're a bunch of atoms that were assembled together to create this conscious being. But if you put the atoms and matter of our bodies aside, what are we left with? And, you know, we all carry this energy, or you know, which could be your soul or spirit, whatever you want to call it. And it all flows. Stream. Yeah, your consciousness stream all flows into this grand energy that exists.
It's grand design.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The universe is literally inside you. Like, that is literally what you are.
So when people say things like, you are God, you can do anything because you are the God of your own universe. Or if you hear people talk about manifestation, it's all the same idea.
Right.
That you do have
that you're tapping
the power
into
of the universe inside of you. Because you are, what is the quote? You gave it to me for Christmas. It's on my wall, my office. You are the universe expressing itself for a moment in time.
Right. Yeah. I think it was, I forget who said that. Carl Sagan, maybe.
I don't remember.
I think it might be Carl Sagan.
I don't know. It's on my wall though.
Yeah. No,
that's what we are as humans. Is like,
we are. We're
energy,
expressing
universal energy being expressed.
Exactly.
As a being.
Exactly. As a conscious being.
Yeah.
And that when you look at life outside of Earth and aliens and everything else, you have to think that we're all, that's what ties us all together. Like, aliens might be way different than us and, you know, way smarter than us and everything else. But at the end, they might look different, but they may not. I mean, they may just be humans just like us. I mean, there's a good chance that there is.
I believe if there
extraterrestrial humans out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a pretty good chance that.
I mean, what's the chances of there being at least in the billions of galaxies one other Earth
that looks somewhat like us, or developed? I mean,
where'd our DNA come from?
I know our DNA came from somewhere, so we must look like something.
Well, that's the thing, right?
That's
I mean, if we didn't evolve from,
to think about.
But
doesn't it give you comfort thinking that if there is an alien race out there, that maybe we do share the same universal bond, the same energy, the same soul network, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there is the idea that we're all just like gonna, you know, they would just come and annihilate us. That's a possibility too. But like, maybe they understand how complex, like in Lilo and Stitch, the aliens were coming down to Earth and they were very concerned about like harming the humans because they're endangered species. And maybe that's really how it is, that we have a bond with other creatures and that they understand it, but because we're not clued in on this, we have no idea.
Well, yeah, because the fact that none of us know the truth about it 100%. I mean, scientists can, you know, make predictions and theorize about it, and that's what a lot of religions are. You know, a lot of religions are attempting to make sense of the universe and of creation and of all of these different things that we all have fucking questions about.
And that's why there's religion, because we all have this want feeling inside of us. Yeah, we want to know where we came from. Like, isn't that natural to want to know what we are, who we are, what our purpose is, why we're here, and where we came from?
Right.
So I think people have come up with answers for that because they don't actually know, or things have been passed down over time of what, you know, other cultures and civilizations have come up with to explain things, and it's been like warped and passed down, and you know, now we're here with this. But it's pretty interesting to think about.
It really is. I mean, you can sit here and ponder this all day because we don't know, and you know, we're going to continue searching and trying to figure out the answers to the universe and where we came from and all of that. But there's a really good chance we may never know, unless, you know, which I really do hope for contact with extraterrestrials that hopefully are, you know, far more intelligent than we are, and their consciousness is far more evolved, you know, because like Remember, guys, we're a type 0 civilization. We are still at war. We're still fighting with each other. We're still on fossil fuels. We're still very primitive. And
oh yeah, we think we're so smart too. Everyone thinks we're so smart, like we're so advanced and so modern.
Yeah, and we're really not. We're very, very primitive still.
Like a bunch of dingbats running around down here. And chances are there's aliens that are like, oh.
And I mean, I don't believe that that's our fault. I think.
No, I don't think it's our fault.
We have been held back by a number of forces at play here on this planet, but I do believe there are other civilizations that are, you know, light years farther advanced than we are, and may hold, you know, some of the answers to these questions, especially about where we came from in the universe. So I wanted to get into a few religious theories because I think it's important to talk about those as well, because, you know, we want to consider all possibilities here, as well as mythological things and some, you know, more of ancient civilization theories about the origins of the universe. But before we get into that, I want to thank our final sponsor for sponsoring today's episode, and that is the Morning Recovery Drink. If you want to have fun on a Tuesday night and be productive at work the next day, Morning Recovery Drink is the smartest way to get you ready for the next day. It's engineered to help you do more without sacrificing the fun that night. All you got to do is make Morning Recovery your drink, which come in these little 3.4 fluid ounces. You just drink one of these before you go to bed.
Like their packaging.
Which will help your body detox, rehydrate, and bounce back. It's packed, loaded with good things for your body.
I'm gonna try some.
That one's a peach flavor, I think. You can tell it's packed with nutrients.
Oh no, it's good.
Supplements.
It is peach flavored.
But it allows you to feel really good the next day. Even if you just have a couple drinks or whatever, if you drink one of those the night before, it's just going to help you feel way more refreshed and energized the next day. It was actually designed by an ex-Tesla engineer as well as other world-class scientists. Yeah.
Yeah, this has some like really strong elements of nature in it too.
Oh yeah.
Ready for this? Korean pear extract, ratatan tea, I think I said that wrong, jujube fruit, prickly pear extract, milk thistle extract, green tea extract, taurine, ginseng, wolfberry. This is pretty cool. This is like has a bunch of natural like superfoods in it.
It's supposed to boost your liver's natural ability to break down the alcohol faster.
Interesting. To get it out.
Doesn't leave you, you know, sometimes you just, even if you have a couple beers or whatever, you feel kind of shitty the next day. This completely alleviates that. This is what it looks like. It's just a little blue bottle. You just chug one of these. And the secret ingredient is called DHM. It's a superhero ingredient, which helps the decomposition of toxins in your liver. It tastes great. They've sold over 1.5 million bottles. And if you don't love it, you get your money back. That's the great thing about it. So there's no reason not to try Morning Recovery. And they have a special deal for you guys. All you got to do is go to morningrecoverydrink.com/milehigher for 20% off your entire order. Yes, you get 20% off your entire order on a 6-pack, 12-pack, or 24-pack at morningrecoverydrink.com/milehigher. Again, morningrecoverydrink.com/milehigher. Check it out. Really appreciate it. All right. I just wanted to quickly go through some of the religious theories, because obviously you got, there's a lot of religious people on the planet, and, I think it's important to take everybody's beliefs and,
absolutely. And they might be right. I like to remind myself that I might, none of us know. So I respect anyone's belief to believe anything.
Right. And I mean, obviously,
no one knows.
You might disagree with everything they say, but, it's still important to consider it. So obviously Christianity, Judaism, Catholicism believe in some form of creationism, which holds that the universe, Earth, and all of life on Earth were created by direct acts of God less than 10,000 years ago, which is, I don't know. I think it's a little hard to say that everything was created in 10,000 years.
I thought it was 7 days.
Timeline,
wait, I'm confused. I thought God created this shit in 7 days.
No, he did, but it happened only 10,000 years ago from today.
Oh, okay. Didn't take him 10,000 years.
A lot of creationists believe this, that, they're called young Earth creationists or whatever. And what I was taught growing up was that the Earth is only 10,000 years old.
It makes no sense though, because there's stuff that there's like.
Well, how do you? And that's the thing, is how do you explain the dinosaurs? And then, they say people were living with the dinosaurs. Noah had dinosaurs on the ark. Have you heard that?
Dinosaurs on the ark?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
If you go to the Ark Encounter,
and they didn't sink.
They have dinosaurs in the Ark.
Ah,
that Noah.
The Ark Encounter. What's that?
That's that giant replica of Noah's Ark, and
I didn't know you could
I want
go
to say it's
there.
in Kentucky, I think.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and they have dinosaurs on there
What?
because
That makes no
creationists
sense.
believe that we existed, we lived among the dinosaurs and stuff.
Okay, what? Remember that when we went in this forest in Australia and they dated the forest back 180 million years. So, what?
Right. Well, it obviously contradicts science.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do know a lot of Christians that, say, hey, that doesn't really make sense to me.
But it's not just science that it's contradicting. It's contradicting all the other
entire
civilizations
timeline. Yeah,
that lived
the entire
before
timeline.
us and saying they
Right.
were all full of shit because they recorded like their
Right.
dates and stuff.
Especially the Sumerians and things like that. Like,
So it's kind of like a little low-key disrespectful for real because that's basically saying they didn't exist,
yep.
which they clearly did. And we got to have respect for ancestors.
But there's a lot of Christians that believe in a literal interpretation of this creation narrative in the Bible's book of Genesis.
It seems like a lot of Christians, though, like 50%, are like much more realistic about this kind of stuff.
They
and
don't take it
have
as a
moved it
literal.
forward. Yeah.
They don't. So
They've,
that's
like,
the
it
thing, right?
changed
There's
with them.
people, there's Christians that believe in the Bible 100% in its literal form, and then there's Christians that understand that this book was written a long time ago and that we can't take the stories and everything in it as literal interpretation, and that we may have to take it and sort of, decipher it to sort of make sense as more of a theoretical type narrative versus an actual. Because I grew up believing that God created the earth in 6 24-hour days. He just created this whole
it's
universe.
only 6 now?
6 days.
I thought it was 7.
No, 7th day he rested. That's why it's Sunday.
Oh, right. So he just was chilling.
He just chilled on Sunday, yeah.
Smoking a bowl. Just kidding.
Probably. I mean, he created
Dude,
marijuana.
if I just created the world, I would smoke a bowl and say,
he did
"God
create
damn,
all these
I did
natural
good."
substances if
So
you
what?
believe in God.
Day 1, he created the light, and then isn't there like a whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, he created everything. Moon, stars, sun,
Damn.
everything. Universe.
All the mosquitoes,
6
all
days.
the billions of creatures, 6 days.
And then he proceeded to create us in the image of him.
Right. And I was just made out of the rib, right? As a woman, I'm nothing but a man's rib. Correct?
Yeah, and
From
a
my
little
understanding.
little other magic.
A little other magic. What's the other magic? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, he took it and took some dirt and like rubbed it. I forget the
dirt
exact
with the
story.
ribs, and then that's
Yeah,
how
he
a
did.
woman
Like
was
he had a
created.
little method to it, and then all of a sudden, poof.
Oh, well, why'd you give us the right to vote then? We're clearly just like an extension of you.
Well, yeah, I mean, and
Wink, wink, if you did.
that's why a lot of Christians do still believe that version of events today. And
I'm sorry, I
think there
just
was
can't
a-
with that.
yeah,
I
I
am
mean-
more than a rib.
do you remember when that creationist scientists debated Bill Nye?
I didn't ever watch it. I don't
You
like
should
to
watch
watch
it.
those
It's
debates
on-
because I
it's
feel
on
bad
YouTube,
for
but
everybody.
Bill Nye, the science guy, debates a creationist. Ken Burns, I think is his name. I
Oh,
think.
Ken Burns is the
Yeah.
famous director that like makes movies and has that effect on iMovie.
Yeah, no, this is a
That's
different Ken
it.
Burns. His last name may not be
Different
Burns.
Ken
I might have just filled that in.
Maybe
but
it's Ken Bone from that election. Like remember in 2016?
No, it's
Red
not.
sweater Ken Bone. What up, Ken Bone? Where you at?
no, it's definitely not him. No, definitely not him.
Okay.
So I personally, once I sort of woke up to everything and, realized that everything is so much bigger and
Mhm.
The Christian version of events did not work for me. I kind of,
There's a lot of holes. There's a
There
lot
is
of
a lot of
questions I would have.
I went in church. We went on a field trip. Listen to this. We went on a field trip to Dinosaur Ridge, which is in Colorado.
Oh yeah, hella.
There's
I love
a
that place.
famous place with a bunch of dinosaur fossils because there was dinosaurs in Colorado at one point. And I remember that we went on this trip and we were not allowed to talk to any of like the rangers or anybody. No, seriously.
Don't talk to the scientists.
No,
and
we couldn't. We
experts,
couldn't
kids.
go in there and like read
don't know what
read
they're
all of the like things. We had a special guide that
The
they
fuck?
hired.
Why even bother
A
bringing kids to
creationist
this?
scientist come in, and I'll never forget this. We were walking along, and they were walking up to like little giant ass fossils of like dinosaurs that were huge, and they're like, your ancestors were walking among these dinosaurs.
They were riding them too.
Yes. Yeah.
Great Grandpa Josh.
Hunting them.
Great Grandpa Josh was on it. He wrote it.
And I just remember being like, get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
And I mean, I was like 13, maybe 14. I was just like, no. This, and it really may have been one of the factors that just kind of got me thinking, like,
God, I would have been such a fuck if I was brought to that. I would have asked all the annoying questions and been that kid. I was like, wait, but how do you explain this?
And again, guys, I know that not all Christians believe
we're
this.
talking about the people that believe this.
We're talking about fundamental.
We love you all no matter what you believe, obviously.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, you know, if you do believe this, you're somehow wrong, because I don't know for sure. I'll say it. I don't know for sure. Maybe it was 10,000 years
I'm just gonna say I'm pretty fucking sure it wasn't, but
that's the Christian, you know, Judaism version. Catholicism believes in a similar version. I'm gonna need
a little proof, just like 1 little ounce of proof for that.
But again, there have been conservative Protestant Christian denominations who have also welcomed the Big Bang Theory as a supporting historical interpretation of the doctrine of creation, as well as one of the popes declared that the Big Bang Theory does not conflict with the Catholic concept of creation. So again, it's pretty split, I would say, and many do not. You know, many have sort of adapted the Big Bang Theory. You know, maybe God initiated the Big Bang Theory. You know, that could be the theory that whatever God is. And I mean, and that's the thing, right? We have to, when we're talking about religions,
that does make more sense to me. I don't think
we're not saying I don't believe in God. It's just God in the form of Jesus and as a human, and that I don't believe.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I don't believe in all. I think all Christianity is false. I think the 10,000 year thing is not true. I cannot believe that because I believe in our ancestors who were alive before them. I'm sorry. I'm not just going to pretend they're all fucking liars and didn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I respect.
I mean, we already know.
Maybe God did start the Big Bang. Like, I get that. I've heard Christians' version of kind of like a modern Christian take on things, and I think it's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because I mean, we already have like scientifically proven that there was early forms of humans like 100,000 years ago.
Yeah.
We found fossils and actually carbon dated that. Like, I don't know how you can really refute that evidence. Like, we know that they've been allowed.
And I don't want to like discount Christians altogether, because I have thought about the idea of like, I know that Jesus Christ himself was a real person, and for all we know, he was,
or was he
spiritual though? Like, he was an alien for all we know, or he was some type of like a god.
Well,
maybe
when you
he really
look,
was like
exactly,
a divine spirit. Maybe it's not the one and only, or maybe the rule book is a little messed up at this point and a little mistranslated, but like maybe Jesus Christ himself was some type of, you know, like how there's been other types of people in history that have helped human evolution and helped people. Like, Jesus was supposed to be this great person that taught people how to love and how to like not judge, and like that
like
sounds to me like
King,
a god,
like so
Martin
many
Luther
other
King, like Gandhi.
So many people and again, like if you look at all of the world religions, including Islam and, you know, Hinduism and Buddhism and all of the major religions, they all talk about these prophets and people that, you know, either were some form of God or communicated directly with God.
And even the Egyptians felt this way too, and the Greeks, and they had their own gods. And so, I mean, chances are they're probably divine beings that carry energy or help move things along or have a greater role than the rest of us.
Or just more enlightened than the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
so
higher evolved.
I do believe in that.
Yeah, consciousness-wise. Just...
So maybe Jesus Christ really did rise from the dead, like people said. Like maybe that story is true. And he really was like a force that we couldn't understand as humans.
Yeah, and again,
I just want people to know I don't discount like all of religion just because I'm not religious.
Well, that's the thing too, is there is a lot of historical fact within the Bible. I mean, we know a lot about the timeline of human history because of it, and know about ancient Babylon and all of these ancient civilizations that we know existed because they were, you know, dated in the Bible. And when you look at the Bible and the Quran and other religious texts, you know, you have to consider it the same way that you would consider, you know, any non-religious text in this, you know, same form, or any other story you read from ancient cultures and things like that. Because for all we know, I mean, this could be, contain a lot of the truth about our history and things like that. But it also, there's a possibility that it's been mistranslated, altered, completely changed altogether. I mean, how do we really know? I mean, how do we really know?
We can't. No one can
version
claim
exists
to know.
today?
No one can claim to know that they know what's up.
It's not like the Bible or the Quran was written in English.
No.
It was written in...
Wasn't it like written on like stones at first too? Or like scrolls straight up?
Yeah, it goes way back, back.
Yeah, so like, come on. It's been rewritten.
So it's like thousands
of
of years. So it's like, we have to be subjective about it.
Yeah.
And it's the same reason we don't go believe the Greeks or, any other mythological thing.
But we can listen to it and take something good out of it or something interesting and not necessarily just discount it altogether. Because like you said, I think the people at the start of any religion had the right intentions and things have just been so warped. Like you talk about the Vatican or something,
Yeah.
Like the original message has been severely corrupted.
Yeah, right.
So.
Well, whenever you get, unevolved humans involved, we're going to.
Yeah, because people are going to say, how can I profit off this? How can I control people with this?
Greedy,
how can I
selfish
use this as power?
Beings. And we, there's people out there that will do anything to put, to get ahead.
Well, you want to feel powerful? Give people answers that they're
control.
Wanting.
It's a control
Tell
mechanism.
people that what's going to happen and the way for them to get to heaven is to do A, B, C, D.
Right.
And people are, if you can sell it well enough, like people will give everything
Subscribe
they have
to it,
because having the answers, those answers that we all deeply want in our souls is like awesome. I mean, I'm sometimes jealous of religious people that really, really, truly believe in something.
Feel so sure about their beliefs and feel so
because I feel so
concrete
unsure
in it. Yeah,
I'm just like flying around. I don't know what the fuck.
It changes every day.
Yeah,
and,
I've never
every
had
new discovery might send you a different direction.
Yeah,
but some people don't like to live life without having the answers. Right,
but no one's ever going to have the answers, and that's the one thing some humans can't accept that you don't know.
And if you're a religious person, I respect all the religious people that say like, hey, this is what I believe, but yeah, you're right. Like, do we all have a doubt? Sure. And aren't afraid to admit that doubt that they could be wrong.
And that doesn't mean you're a bad Christian or Catholic or whatever you are. It means you're a intelligent individual who's questioning things and using your brain. Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Is it's, I was told like doubts are such a terrible, bad thing, but in reality, doubts, are really what, tests you at the end of the day to see, if you're really serious about what you believe. And, I think it's important to, have beliefs and critically think about such deep things, such as, what is this reality? What is the universe? Where do we go when we die? What is our purpose here? Like, these are all great questions and we should all be thinking about them. I just think that it should be an ongoing thing. Like, it shouldn't be like, oh, all right, got one version, boom, I'm set.
Yeah.
Pack it up.
Zip, zap,
close that part of my brain off for the rest of my life. I'm just going to roll with it. I know people personally that think like that. And, my hope for them is that, you stay open. I mean, you got to stay open. You can believe in something, but keep it open for new updates. I mean, because look, guys, if we have aliens come and join our society and our civilization and they start, telling us about all this crazy technology and lead us into a whole nother age of human history, I mean, things are going to change. Like, people's beliefs are going to have to change.
I guarantee you people will not be practicing the same religions in 600 years.
They're going to be like,
around.
What?
Yeah, that's what those,
Especially if they're extremely advanced. I mean, we know that there is different levels to our consciousness and there are ways to transcend our consciousness to higher levels of thinking and, tapping into, all these different planes and dimensions that exist. We know this is actually what is reality. So, there is a chance that as human beings, we will evolve and our consciousness will transcend with us. And we could have far more answers to life, to the universe than we have now. And so,
be open to that.
If you look at religions, you look at Buddhism, and you look at Islam and you look at Hinduism, going back to the oldest religious ideas in recorded human history, they all sort of teach many of the same things. And you know, Islam is a very confusing one. I don't know a ton about Islam, but the Quran states that the heavens and the earth were of one piece before being parted. God then created the landscape of the earth, placed the sky above it as a roof, and then created the day and night cycles by appointing an orbit for both the sun and the moon. And I think it's really interesting that like there's such this divide between Christians and Muslim people, when in fact I think there's a lot of similarities between the two religions. I find that really interesting. But I really like, you know, Buddhism's approach to the universe, that the origin of the world is unknowable, and that the universe is one of many that have come before, so that the world we came into followed the destruction of another and will be followed by yet another universe, which is like the death and rebirth is eternal. It never ends, which goes into the whole idea of, you know, reincarnation, all those things, that life is a cycle, the universe is a cycle, you know, whenever one is destroyed, a new one is created, which sounds a lot like the oscillating model of the universe, or where the universe essentially restarts itself, maybe even a multiverse. So I think it's very interesting.
I do too.
In Hinduism, same way, they believe in an internal universe cosmology.
I feel like I identify a lot more with that. I mean, I never try to like put myself into a group, but I like can get behind that a little more and understand it better.
That the universe is infinite and cyclic rather than a universe which originated from a big bang.
And that's something that Josh and I really want to talk about soon too, is just the cycles of the universe. That's a whole different interesting thing. And Hindus, I think, really were the ones who started the idea of the great year.
Yeah.
And Josh and I want to get into that. And that's basically like about there being all these different cycles and dark times in history and enlightened times in history and Kali Yuga. And so we're going to do a whole podcast on that. But it is really interesting that they include that, and that Hinduism is very interesting.
It is.
The more I learn about Hinduism, the more fascinated I am with it. I feel like they're very connected to the original.
Well, they're the oldest recorded religion. I mean, if anybody was, you know, somehow recording what happened at the beginning, you know, maybe it was the Hindus.
And I mean, I hope no one takes offense to this, but the gods, they look out of this world. They look alien.
Ancient astronaut theory.
Right? I mean, some of them are blue.
This doesn't sound as crazy as you think.
Multiple arms. There's Geisha with the elephant nose, and forgetting the one that's blue. It starts with an R. But anyway,
same with the ancient Egyptians and their, you know, their gods and goddesses
look
Ra
like aliens too, for sure.
And the depictions of
what's
things
his name?
that look like spacecraft.
The one that I really liked, the bird. It's like not Thorn. It's like
Thoth.
Thoth, yes.
Thoth, yeah.
I just like that name, Thoth.
Thoth, yeah.
Thoth.
I mean, I know a lot of people just kind of like chuckle when they, you know, listen to ancient, you know, astronaut theory and stuff. And,
I believe it.
And ancient astronaut theorists and what they believe. But
I
think
would
it's
put
very
money on
possible.
it, honestly. I think there was probably alien beings at least one time on the Earth that at least came
that
here.
may have helped us start our civilizations
or that we came here or like we were originally aliens, hybrids that like, I mean, this is a whole
genetically engineered,
thing,
and yeah.
I mean, it works into some of these religions, which is really interesting.
It really does.
You definitely can't discount it all as bullshit. There's a lot to this stuff, you know, and a lot of wisdom within, like, packed within this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a surprising amount of evidence, and you look at artifacts that have been uncovered, and that all of these people that existed with elongated skulls and things, and you're like, was that just because they were doing weird rituals, or is that because
they just
had
like to make their heads flat,
huge brains, and were maybe far more advanced and had an IQ of 400 and we have an IQ of 100? Like, maybe like we started off as extremely intelligent beings that were,
or there were
hybrid with some other extraterrestrial race, and then over time we've actually become unevolved. Like we've gotten dumber with time, or maybe it's a part of that.
There were beings here that were alien human hybrids that had the elongated skulls, and there were still also humans, like of Earth beings and then of space beings. There's kind of a mix, and there was like a mix in between.
Yeah.
And then they're gone now, or they left for some reason, or
something happened.
Part of our evolution is us being alone, figuring it out on our own.
Maybe there was,
It's kind of hard to believe, though, that it was just like they wanted their heads to be long. I'm sorry. I know that's like the scientific term. People love to like school me with that one.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Kendall, it's just because they like to smash their heads because it makes them look cool.
They did
like,
these weird rituals, and that's
okay. And maybe they did. Maybe. I mean, you're probably right. But like, what? Why? And how? How would you make... I can't even imagine strapping a wood board to a baby and their skull turning into a cone.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Here's an interesting thought. So these... And we'll talk about this in depth in another episode because this is super interesting. But
yeah, we gotta wrap this up. This is gonna be
ancient peoples that, you know, existed with these elongated skulls, you know, a lot of people theorize that they may have ended up falling into sort of the power positions on our planet. Like maybe that's the reason the Pope always wears like this crazy hat, because he's hiding in an elongated skull.
Oh, that is a spicy theory. I like
people that exist with these elongated skulls.
The Pope,
even to this day.
Elongated. Shut up. That is so interesting.
That, you know, these people that did have these IQs of crazy, you know, crazy intelligence could in fact still be around today.
Fascinating, thinking that the Pope is hiding a giant alien head.
Isn't that?
I hope he is.
Because he always was wearing the
like
hat.
that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, the Popes, they wear those weird fucking
and
things.
They have for centuries. Like,
it looks like, whoa.
Going way back.
No, but here's Pope, like Benedict, whatever, the new one, the woke Pope. Woke Pope.
But
he's wearing like that's like a yarmulke, so clearly he's been hiding
as far as we know, that could be a highly advanced piece of technology.
That's smushing his little head.
Because, dude, we need to do an episode on the Vatican, because, dude, they've got some shit there.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell me that they didn't take some shit from the Library of Alexandria.
Oh, they did.
And hide it away.
They got a lot of shit hidden away.
That's
a whole nother episode.
Miles of underground.
Miles, man.
Miles of underground tunnels and probably safes and everything else
the burnt
underneath
libraries
the Vatican.
Is such an interesting. We definitely need to talk about the Library of Alexandria and other places that have just burned books, book burning. Like I remember learning about that in school and being like, whatever, someone burned some books. Who cares?
No, dude.
But now
lost
it's like we
so
lost
much.
Oh, it's almost sickening to think about.
Maybe the answer to how the universe began.
Probably
for all
did.
we fucking know. For all we fucking know.
I'm sure someone had it written down at some point. You'd think whoever was around in the beginning was probably like, we should probably write this shit down just in case like we lose it over time, or like, you know, once we're dead. I feel like someone wrote the shit down, and there's probably a reason it was burned. There's no way they just burned it because...
Why would you do that? Who in their right mind would do that? Unless there is some ulterior motive, which leads you
to get completely rid of it.
Nobility of the planet, possibly
Why
people...
not just take those books and hide them? Why do they have to burn them?
Because they wanted to destroy what they contained.
They don't want anyone to ever know.
They may have contained the secrets of the universe, and they're like, if we destroy this, we'll be able to control people by creating our own narrative. And maybe that's why they did it.
Now that I've Googled like the Pope's hidden elongated skull, now that I'm getting like Obama pictures, people have like drawn up like Obama's like clearly hiding his.
You never know, man. They do come from the same bloodline.
Oh my God, they could.
So many crazy things. All right, I want to wrap it up. I got one last thing that I wanted to share.
I just realized I was supposed to be at an eye doctor appointment like right now, and I'm not there because it's
I got one more
whoops
conspiracy theorist view
of the
universe.
A long time.
I just want to read this because it is very interesting, and it could have some truth to it, but it could be.
Drop your tinfoil hat on right now.
Drop it. Put the fucking shit on.
Just strap that shit on.
Put it on and just be open about this. This is okay. This is coming from Alex Jones. I will disclosure there. This was actually from a conversation Alex Jones had with Joe Rogan on his podcast, where Alex Jones just goes off and is like, this is basically the truth about the universe. So this is Alex Jones' view, but it has some very interesting points in it that I think may or may not be true. So let's hear what he had to say. So he said, the elite are all about transcendence and living forever and the secrets of the universe, and they want to know all of this. Makes sense? Some are good, some are bad, some are a mix. But the good ones don't ever want to organize. The bad ones tend to organize because they lust after power. Powerful consciousnesses don't want to dominate other people, they want to empower them. so they don't tend to get together until things are really late in the game. Then they come together, and evil's always defeated because good is so much stronger. We're on this planet, and Einstein's physics show and Max Planck's physics show that there are at least 12 dimensions, which is what we talked about earlier. And now that's what all the top scientists and billionaires are coming out saying. It's a false hologram. It is artificial. The computers are scanning it and finding tension points where it's artificially projected and gravity's bleeding into this universe. That's what they call dark matter. That I find very interesting.
That's actually really interesting.
Isn't that really interesting?
I mean, it's like,
if you believe in this simulation theory or the hologram theory and that this is an artificial universe and that our computers are actually scanning and finding points in which there's like tears in the fabric of the universe or the simulation where gravity's bleeding through.
I mean, could be. That's really, that's actually really interesting to think about. I like thinking about it at least.
He went on to say that, so we're like a thought or a dream that's a wisp in some computer program in some God's mind. Whatever, they're proving it all. It's all coming out. There's this sub-transmission zone below the third dimension that just turned over the most horrible things. It's what it resonates to. And it's trying to get up into the third dimension, and that's just a basic level, consciousness, to launch into the next levels. And our species is already way up at the fifth or sixth dimension consciously, our best people. But there's this big war trying to basically destroy humanity because humanity has free will. And there's a decision to which level we want to go to. We have free will, so evil's allowed to come and contend, and not just good. The elites themselves believe they're racing using human technology to try to take our best minds and build some type of breakaway civilization where they're going to merge with machines, transcend, and break away from the failed species that is man.
Wow.
That's possible, man.
I mean, yeah, it is possible.
The richest, smartest people on the planet that have the money and the technology.
The ones that are like meeting at the Bohemian fucking club.
Basically be like, we're going to ditch all these like puny little humans and go create like a elite species.
It might be the only way to continue our species is something like that. Sadly.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
interesting stuff.
This is interesting too. You said, which is kind of like a false transmission because what they're thinking is that they is ugly and bad, projecting it onto themselves instead of believing, no, it's a human test about building us up. And so Google was set up 18, 19 years ago. He said, I knew about this before it was declassified. I'm just saying I have good sources, which I don't. Here's the thing about Alex Jones, right? He says a lot of crazy shit, but we do have to recognize him as, one of the first conspiracy theories out there. And way back when he was first getting started 20 years ago, he was a lot different than he is today. And he was kind of one of the first people to publicly come out and talk about conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And, he kind of like broke the ground in that sense.
He definitely did, yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that people that were whistleblowers or insiders or things like that came to him with possibly classified information. And that's what he said. He said, Google wants to build a giant artificial system, and they believe that the first artificial intelligence will be a supercomputer based on the neuron activities of the hive mind of humanity, with billions of people wired into it, with the Internet of Things. So all of our thoughts go into it, and we're actually building a computer that has real neurons in real time that's also physically psychically connected to us, that are organic creatures, so that they will have current prediction powers, future prediction powers, a true crystal ball.
Whoa.
But the big secret is, once you have a crystal ball and know the future, you can add stimuli beforehand that make decisions that control the future. And so then it's the end of consciousness and free will for individuals, as we know, in a true 2.0, in a very bad way, hive mind consciousness with an AI jacked into everyone, knowing our hopes and dreams, delivering it to us, not in some type of wire headset where we plug in and give up on consciousness because of unlimited pleasure, but because we are already wired in and absorbed before we knew it by giving over our consciousness to the system, our daily decisions, that it was able to manipulate and control into a larger one. Yeah, so he basically said that unless we stop this from happening, humanity could essentially we could all lose our power of free will and our consciousness for that matter, because we've literally submitted ourselves to
Well, we kind of have
the AI minds that could, I mean, it sounds
It's
fucking
totally-
crazy, but it's like,
but it's not.
it's not that crazy.
The idea of it is not. I'm not saying it's like true.
And people, you know, we've
But-
talked about like the Illuminati or this elite group of individuals that control the planet, and how are they, you know, the idea that they want to reduce the population.
Well, if they're real, they're probably planning like hundreds of years out.
If they want to reduce the population, one way to do it would be to completely take over our minds and take our free will
Use
out
us
of it.
as slaves.
Yeah.
Basically. Ugh.
How crazy is that?
Creepy as fuck.
So now everybody's gonna be fucking terrified of Google now.
Well, I'm not having any of that Alexa shit in our house.
Yeah,
I'm telling you that now.
AI is very scary, man. It really is. There's a lot of scary shit that could happen with it. And do we trust Google? Do we trust these big corporations? I mean, Google's a giant corporation. They seem like they've got our best intentions in mind, but do they really?
They have a lot of power, and normally there's not the
And a
greatest
lot of
people behind
information
power.
about you.
Yeah, and they seem to just keep getting more and more power and striving for more.
And they're
more
trying to
power.
push this technology into all of our homes.
Oh yeah,
They
Oh,
want
yeah.
you to have
What's
this
the newest
AI.
thing?
in
The
there.
Google Hub is the newest.
The
thing.
Google Assistant, yeah.
I think it's called the Hub or something. It's a new thing. It's like a
They're like literally throwing it in for free with like everything.
yeah.
They're trying to get
Yeah,
these
they want them
AI
in people's
and that
houses.
scares me.
I'm never
because
letting that shit
that
in
shit
our
can
house.
fucking listen to you, man.
But what about our
and
phones?
record it.
Siri, we have Siri, so we're
Right?
fucked anyway.
Disable Siri, everybody. Disable AI.
But how
Siri.
am I gonna play Ariana Grande when I'm wet in the shower and I need Alexa to
It's
turn it
useful,
on?
but
Or
fuck.
Siri.
It could be recording you in our conversations and collecting data
Well, damn,
without
at
us
this
knowing.
point, it's probably too late anyway.
Fuck, we're so fucked. So that's where we're gonna end it, guys. We're all fucked. The universe is still a mystery.
We want to know what you guys
And-
think, though. Like, what's your best guess? What's your gut feeling? What's like, what do you think? Because obviously we don't know, and
We don't
none
know
of us
shit.
know. So we're really open to all of your opinions
I
on
hope
this.
and I do believe that there is a higher power of some sort.
I know that
in
there is.
control
I
here,
know in
and
my
that
soul that there is.
we can take the power back, and we can
yeah.
be the civilization we want to be. We can be the beings we want to be.
And that's the message to you.
And I really hope we can get some aliens to help us out, man. I think we
If you're
need
out
them
there, bitch.
before AI
Maybe they're really on their way, though. We don't know.
taking over us.
I don't know. Everyone pray. Just kidding. Pray to who? I don't know. What was that song lyric we were listening to today? It was like, we all pray to
Man.
different gods. Which one is your version?
Yeah, it's a Odessa song.
Yeah, it's
Odessa.
like, everybody prays
favorite band,
to
yeah.
God.
Artist.
What's your version?
It's true though. It's really true. At the end of the day, you know, whoever you call God, like at the end of the day, like
It's the same thing.
It's
We're all praying to the
the same
same
thing.
thing. Because we
Same
are all connected, whether we want to believe I'm a Jewish
Yeah,
person and
you
I'm
wanna-
a Christian person, I'm a
right.
Muslim person. No, we are all persons.
We're all
the
human
same.
beings.
Like we're on the same fucking planet. And you know, at the end of the day,
that's why all the barriers, all the bullshit, all the politics
we have
is just
so much more in
just a
common.
way to divide us, just a way to
Yes,
make
it's
us
a tool.
weaker.
And don't
Yeah.
fall into the hate. Don't fall into the sides and the hatred on each other. Like, we can't be like that or we're going to be screwed. The best chance we have is the people working together. That's all we have.
That's all we
'Cause
have.
we
is each
have
other.
the numbers. The elite and the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, they do not have
They might have the money.
numbers,
They might have the money,
but they don't have the people
but
and
they don't have
the
the
will.
people. Right. They don't have the so we can do it.
So
we can do it, guys.
chew on that nugget till the next episode, and we'll be back next week with an episode on Big Pharma and
We
the
gonna
truth
do
about
that for sure?
pharmaceutical Oh yeah, I'm
Oh,
ready for
man.
it. I'm ready for it.
Get ready.
I have a lot to say.
Yeah,
I
with
have
your
a lot to
personal
say.
experience, and I'm sure many of you with your experience with,
I'm ready to like rip my doctor apart in the next episode. So
and just talking about how the pharmaceutical companies are literally destroying us, like
and the politicians
killing
that
us.
are like going along with it.
Yep. So we got so much more coming for you all. We appreciate you listening or watching the episode today. It was a lot of fun. If you enjoyed it, please give us a huge thumbs up, subscribe on YouTube and on iTunes. Leave us a rating or review. It really does help us out. And we'd love to hear your thoughts, as always.
Stay woke.
And stay safe, y'all. See you next time.